everyone, I'm Devaa Mitchell, and I'm here with my very special guest and friend and colleague Elayne today.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you.
For those of you who aren't as familiar with either of us, I'm the host of the Inspiring Women Summit and the founder of that.
And I'm the founder of Planet Breathe, and Devaa and I happen to be sisters who are in collaboration with another wonderful co-creative project, which is called the Soulful Women Program.
Yes. And we've learned quite a lot from all these collaborations, and we want to share some of the work that we have generated together with you today. So the question on both of our lips is, what does it mean and what does it take to really live as an inspiring woman?
Indeed. We have been involved in so many interviews over the last year. We've probably interviewed at least 70, if not more, women who are all leaders out there in the world, inspirations in themselves. It's about what does it mean to be inspiring and how do we live our most inspired life as women on the planet at this particular point in history. And so what Devaa and I really are inspired to do today with all of you is to share these 5 principles that we've really come up with as a result of all of these interviews. And there's 5 qualities really that we see amongst all inspiring women. And I know that you all out there are probably going to have at least 5 of these qualities yourself, or at least some aspect that you resonate with, because it's part of our beingness as women and how we offer our inspiration in the world. And so, Devaa, what's the first principle that we really have noticed amongst ourselves as inspirational women, but also amongst those women that we see as inspiring?
Well, the first principle, and we really see this as a foundation for everything else, is presence. And what we mean by presence is really the quality of our beingness. We know that who we are and who we're being is equally important, if not more important, than what we're doing in the world. And what I mean by that is these qualities, for example, of the depth that we show up with. There's some people, for example, you know when you walk into the room and you drop in with them that you feel that they're holding a spaciousness, they're holding a real open container that you can move into, and it's something that you can really feel. Or people who have the presence of their heart is really engaged, and it shows through their eyes, and you can feel it through their voice, as well as the quality of the voice. And is it open? Is it spacious? Is it uplifting? Is it nourishing? All these deep qualities that are often a little less tangible, but yet you know it when you experience it. When you come into contact with someone who really has a deep or powerful presence, you are moved, you're riveted, you're inspired. And so that's really the foundation and the first principle that we are cultivating.
You know, when you're saying that, I like to think of that element of presence as being somebody who is completely at home in themselves. Like they're present, they're here, they reside in their heart and their gut. They reside
in their body.
In their body, you know, like they really have found a way to come fully into being incarnated in this physical form as a spiritual being, and they're available. You know, I think that that's what I'm struck by, and they're comfortable in their own skin. Yes. So it doesn't matter where they are, they're able to be available and to play and to be engaged in co-creating the reality that we're all sharing. And so, you know, when I think about us as inspiring women, I think about my own work, to come home to myself, to constantly have a practice of coming home to myself and how I do that on a daily basis. And when I notice that I'm not at home and I'm not present, and cultivating that sense of presence is one of my own sacred practices that I'm engaged in on a daily basis. And so it's very close to my heart to talk about that.
Yes. Yeah, and it's something that we really think is a foundation, whether you're someone well-known or not well-known, it really doesn't matter.
Right,
Exactly.
Exactly. So the second principle, once we got that foundation of presence, we've come home to ourselves, we're here, we're in our own presence, is cultivating an open heart. And this one, to me, is the most juicy and delicious of the practices of being an inspiring woman. And it's really taking on what happens if I see the world through the eyes of love, through the eyes of my heart. What happens if I touch you with the hands of my heart? If my heart could reach out and touch you right now, how would it do that? If I could create love and be open-hearted in my voice and my whole demeanor, how would I move in the world from that place? And to me, that's awakening my heart. And any inspiring woman that I've had the pleasure to be in presence with has this quality of warmth and open-heartedness and generosity of spirit that just pours out of them toward you. And it's that quality that feels so, that brings me home when I'm in the presence of that. That's really what it does. So,
and it's also when you said that, I see this motion going this way, and then I also am reminded to bring the hands back in, because usually it's much easier to love out there and feel open-heartedness towards someone else, but the person that's often needing our compassion the most is ourself.
And it's the hardest one to give it to.
It is the hardest one, yeah. And most of us as women are really quite hard on ourselves. We have that little voice inside our head that's telling us we should be here, and we're here, and so there's always this harshness. So extending some of that love and compassion to self is really quite important. So yes. Number 3.
Yeah, what is the third one?
So number 3 is confidence. And when we're speaking about confidence, we don't just mean bravado out in the world, but it's really...
We don't mean that at all, actually.
Yeah, no, we mean knowing having a sense of self-worth, and really knowing that you are here with something very important to offer, and there's a gift you have that only you have, that you're here to give. And so really knowing that at a gut level, that I matter, that we do quite a lot of work in with the women that are in our programs around being good enough, or there's some enough. Am I good enough, smart enough, tall enough, thin enough?
Enough already.
Yeah, and so having, I feel like the true confidence is the result of having done that work to know your true value, and know that, yes, you're more than enough.
Thank you, I'm more than enough. Yes. Finally, I'm more than enough.
Yes.
So I smile when I hear that, because you said it's not about bravado, and it's actually the exact opposite of bravado.
Well, people can think that when you're confident. Yeah.
But true confidence is really, to me, is being able to own that place of you have something of special giftedness in your own being to offer that is absolutely not tainted by your arrogance. And so we talk about the move from ego to essence, right? And ego is all wrapped up in the glamours of what the gift we have inside of ourselves might bring us. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still prone to the glamours. But really, when I'm in my inspiration and I'm being inspiring, I know it's coming from my essence. And my confidence at my essence level really comes from knowing that I'm a divine being in physical form, as are you, and that all of us have something to offer. And it's about the shared humanity of that brings the confidence. And that confidence shines through in a completely different way, because it's based on presence and open-heartedness.
Yes.
And that's where it comes from. It doesn't want to take and say, this is mine. My confidence, it's like, no, I share this with all of you, because it's all of us. Yeah. Wow.
So the next principle is creativity. And this is something that is alive for both of us, and is also really inspired by the archetype of the muse. And so both, when we're in our feminine inspiration, there's so many things that can birth out of that, whether that's artistic expression, music and art and dancing, but also creativity is one of the most important principles for generating new ideas and new solutions for where we are in our planet right now. We're clearly at a time of big transition. There's a lot of chaos happening on the planet. There's a certain number of crises going on. And having that creative impulse alive inside of us is really one of the key things I see to getting from where we are now to where we're going, and being able to generate a new future that is greater than imagined, that goes beyond anything we've ever known or experienced before.
And that creativity, it lives in us as women in a particular way. This is what I've noticed, is because we have this innate physical, biological, encoded possibility of actually birthing on a physical level, we also have tremendous power to birth on all levels of our being. And I see us really owning our creativity as we are birthing together. We are in that process where we are birthing and co-creating new ideas, new solutions, things that have never been thought of, things that have never yet been seen. And that we're doing that through accessing our creativity, through realizing that we are actually the mothers of the new world that's being born, and we're also the midwives who are birthing it. And I know that this for me has been an archetype of creativity, which is like, I may not have birthed physical children myself, which has been a choice, but I have moved fully into the archetype of the midwife who is here to be of service in birthing both myself and others to their full realization and potential. And it's like that energy of creativity moves within all of us and is one of the bedrocks, I think, of being an inspiration and living an inspiring life.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our very last quality we want to explore today, which is abundance. And for us, and this is this motion that we've been doing so often today, and abundance is really connected for me also to the archetype of the alchemist, which is one of the ones that we work with, because it's the result of having done the work through all these different parts of yourself, from all these different archetypes, to embody all of them together. The result is really living in this place of generosity where you are overflowing. You know that you're not just enough, you're not just more than enough, but that there's this energy of overflowing, and that could be financial abundance, that could be of love, that could be of spirit, where you're just in this space of giving and receiving. I think of it, both as this and this gesture. I'm noticing the giving and the receiving, and the in and out with the universe. I'm getting into it.
I'm struck by what's going through my mind. The reason I'm laughing as you're doing that is I'm thinking of a bun dance. We're dancing with the abun. We're doing the abundance, and it's like that's what it feels like when you're really in the flow with the abundance. It's not just your monetary wealth that we're talking about. It's about all of the wealth of your entire being, your internal resources, your community, your friends, your colleagues, the houses that we live in, the spirit that lives within us, and really realizing that abundance means everything that you can be grateful for and appreciating in your life. And that when you have that quality alive within you, that you just simply create more of it wherever you go. It's like
you said appreciate that, and we know this great little phrase, what you appreciate
appreciates. Pretty simple.
Yes.
So let's do this. So if your presence, your open-heartedness, your confidence, your
creativity,
and your abundance, those 5 principles, that's not that much to check in with on a daily basis, actually.
No, and it's not that much to live from that place. In fact, probably many of these qualities are already alive for you.
You may be recognizing yourself in amongst them. I'm sure you
That's
are.
right. That's the very last thing I want to share. An inspiring woman is not someone out there, someone on TV, someone in the paper. They may be inspiring, but also, so are you. And we want to celebrate that and encourage that in every woman and man who's watching this today.
So go be inspirational.
We celebrate you.